And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with the UFC Vegas Fight Night Seoul breakdown here. Derrick, Lewis, and Serghei Spivac headline the card here. I am here with my two friends and co-hosts today. Very excited. Betya of go ahead. You can tell everybody everything so I don't screw it up.
Shalom.
Mazel Tov. The Home and Home series, as you said. Hopefully everybody checked out the props show over at MMA Engines. We did
we crushed it
well. Yeah,
you crushed it, and I helped.
Yeah, I know, and I don't usually focus on props that often, but or that closely early in the week. So it definitely helped, and I've continued to do that going into this week. But how you doing, Lou?
Glad to break this card down. Look, man, I don't complain about cards. I don't care what time they're on. Like, you dig in, you find some cool stuff. I love the Contender Series. This is very similar to it. And then we also have Kim Bohm, which probably going to spend 45 minutes on just for that fight.
Yeah, Kim and Bohm really should be headlining the card, but it is what it is. We know the politics. And then my boy was with me for the last card. We did very, very well on it, and definitely hit some good bets as well. Just my 2 cents. How are you?
What's going on, man? You know I had to weasel my way onto this thing at least one more time, but nah, dude, I'm very happy to be here. I'm on stream with a couple heavy hitters, man. So I'm gonna bring my A game. And dude, for as wild as this card looks on paper, the more I broke it down and taped it, like the more excited I got. Like I'm pumped for this now.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you look more into a card and you're like, oh, this is not as good as I was expecting. And this is a case where I think we're all somewhat on the same page here, that there's a lot of unknowns first and foremost on this card. I know I'm going to be betting it very sparingly this week, so it is what it is. This is more of an observer card, I guess you could say, but still, I think they matched it up really, really well. And 3 Americans on the card. It was supposed to be over in Seoul. I think I'm going to be bringing that up a lot on this breakdown myself, because I do think it's going to play. I think it will, frankly, change the result of 1 or 2 of these fights or more. So it's kind of hard to know, obviously, but I think for certain fights, we'll talk about them. But 3 Americans on the card. I don't know when the last time an American didn't win on a UFC card, but this is definitely a contender for that to happen. So kind of be an interesting little tidbit there. But let's go ahead and jump into it here. I believe there's 14 fights. 3 of the prelims are the road to the UFC. 12 fights, my bad. Used to a little more, but 3 of the prelims road to UFC finals fights, or 4 of them, I believe. And yeah, I really liked going back and watching the tape on those. So excited to talk about those. Getting out of the way early, kind of what I would call a little bit of a carousel fight, if I'm being honest. Tatsuro Taira versus Jesus Aguilar here, and strap in right now because I will not be pronouncing names right. When am I ever going to do that? I pronounce them right the entire time as I'm preparing. I'm like, I got this, and then I say them on stream, and I don't know what I'm doing. But I do know what I'm talking about here. Jesus Aguilar, 8-1 off of the Contenders Series, guillotine master, basically, is what he is known for. He's only 26 years old, looks a little bit older to me, but it is what it is. We can't all be blessed with Lou's youthful exuberance. 8-1.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll try not to take everything off the table here, also being aware that we got 2 co-hosts here. But 8-1, you see the guillotines, 4 of them to be exact on the record here, including the last one over Erison Ferreira, 11-1. But I don't know. Erison Ferreira, he's okay, but he's not anything too special. But it's faced a decent level of competition so far in his career with Combate and UWC. And he's getting a lot of finishes, and he's not just getting them early. That's something I think is kind of a misnomer with this fight. He's going to go for the guillotines the entire time. Taira is going to give him opportunities to get the guillotine. I think Taira is just too high of a level, but it's not just first round sub or bust. And there's going to be a few opportunities because Taira has got to get him to the ground. I am not a fan of guys who do the guillotine defense for takedowns because it's a quick way to get to the ground and get on your back. I'm never going to pick Simon Oliveira in the UFC. I can't imagine I ever will. We're not going to get a chance at Simon Oliveira. The Von Flue is definitely in play here. I would hope Aguilar, because he just spams guillotines, like knows how to defend a Von Flue more than anybody. But Von Flue might happen. Taira does have that level, 12-0, 21-0. Going back to the amateur, kind of just slow cook CJ Vergara there. Carlos Candelario was his debut. Question is what prop you want to play with Taira, probably. So I think Taira gets it done, and I think he gets it done inside of 2 rounds. So I'm probably going to sprinkle maybe a first and second round sub, but nothing else. First round sub, really not even worth it also. So Taira should take it. Lou, what are your thoughts? And then I'll alternate. I'll go with you first next time. 2 cents.
I mean, I can't make a case for. I was going to say he's a less spinny shit version of Oliveira. So, like, just spamming like his move. But there's not much to break down here. Taira should kick his ass. But I will say this: if you want to bet him, I'm hesitant to just bet the sub. It's minus 135 on DK. Under 2.5 is minus 160. I could make a case that he has a huge advantage on the feet here too. His hands are like bricks, and he does hit pretty hard.
And
I know Aguilar's
massive reach too.
He does, and the thing is if Aguilar's only win condition is like DDT out of nowhere, right, it might benefit Taira at least initially to keep it on the feet. He could get a knockout at plus 600. It's not like I don't hate taking it. I'm not going to get there, I don't think, but I understand it at least. But under 2.5 is cheaper than is in a distance prop. So for me, if you like Taira, you're better off playing under 2.5. Save 10 cents. And it gives you Aguilar's miracle, first round Gilly too. So that's where I'm at with this one. The first, like you said, the first round props aren't even, I mean, it's hard to make it a minus 1150.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do the Jalton Almeida play again here and do a second round TKO and just go for it and just be like, hey, everybody's expecting Taira to come in here and sub him up. Let's just shoot for first round. He's smart. Second round, Aguilar swings absolutely wild too. Like looping isn't even.
Yeah, he leaves round 2 KOs plus 2,000 for Taira.
There you go. Let's take a shot on a plus 2,000 here on a guy who is going to be a massive favorite.
Don't steal my gimmick. Don't steal my gimmick of considering props and then maybe bet him.
I'm not, but I would never. But 2 cents. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't have much to add. I'm on the same page. It's going to be Taira all fucking day. But I was going to ask you guys about where you're kind of leaning with how you're going to play it, because that's kind of what I'm struggling with. I know that Taira is going to get it done outside of some crazy fluke thing, which I really don't think is going to happen. Watching Aguilar, he does the same shit every time. I think it's going to be literally a spamming of him going for the gilly, Taira taking him down and going right into side control. And honestly, like, he doesn't have the worst ground and pound. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a G&P finish either. So I'm my official prediction is Taira by second round submission. But as far as the betting, I don't like that. I mean, I don't hate that under 2.5 at all, and that might be the way I play it. But Taira all day.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of prelims or a lot of the first fights of the night end in the first round or decision. I know that, so that's another thing. I wish this was second, but I think I've talked myself into the second round KO. Just gonna call it the Jalton Almeida play here.
Unless it's Chris Taglioni. I swear to God, whenever he's the first fight of the night, it never ends in the first round.
Yeah, no, Chris is, too busy just, talking very softly to fighters after they get kicked in.
He's got to give his 6 hard warnings before.
I'm a Chris Taglioni stan, so, you're not going to hear me hating on him here, but.
Most improved ref ever.
Yeah, he's great. I have no problem with Taglioni. Getting over to the odds here, courtesy. We'll go with DraftKings. Why not? Minus 1150 on Taira here, plus 750 on Aguilar. I don't mind the under 2.5 play. The line does indicate a round 1 finish, as Moise points out here, but should be a good one. Interesting way to start out the card. I'll just say this. If I bet Taira, I would hate it, but I wouldn't hate Aguilar winning this fight. I think it'd be a lot of fun if he did, because, he's really not supposed to be here. So just sometimes I like to see a guy overachieve a few times. But Tyre should take this one. I do think he's the real deal. Moving on to the next fight of the night. This is a much closer fight. This is one that might be a curse of watching too much tape on my end or not. But Jun Young Park versus Dennis Tulin here. Dennis Tulin, a guy who I was pretty wrong about so far in his UFC career. The guy can bop. He doesn't have a lot to his game, kind of stands and bangs. He hopes you don't take him down. He's going to be a lot bigger than Jun Young Park in this fight also. When Jun Young Park can't get his wrestling going, Jun Young Park struggles and usually loses the fight in some way or another. He's only been put away once. It was by Gregory Rodriguez. He's faced a better level of competition, but Dennis Tulin didn't face a terrible level of competition before getting into the UFC. I'm going to be nervous early for Jun Young Park for sure because I just think he gets into way too many wars. Ironically, kind of has the same syndrome as Gregory Rodriguez. Rest in peace, my glass cannon. But Jun Young Park, it's a pretty clear route to victory. Get the wrestling going, grapple him up. Just don't mix it up on the feet because I do think Tulin's really only route to victory is a first-round knockout. I think after that he's going to slow down, be on his back a lot, has turtle syndrome off his back as well. So for me, I can't get there on Dennis Tulin, but I respect if you're out there playing the first-round KO in this spot. I think Jun Young Park makes it a pretty ho-hum decision, maybe finishes it late, doesn't have terrible submissions himself, but I think that Iron Turtle probably goes to a decision here. So 2 cents. What are your thoughts here?
So yeah, this one, I like a lot of things you said, and I agree with it for the most part. Tululin's only path is knocking Park out. Outside of the RoboCop fight, which you said glass cannon, dude, his cannon is fucking real. He has knocked a lot of people out that I did not think he would. And I just Tululin does hit hard. He does have good striking, but I don't see that happening, man. And I will be with you. I will be scared the first round. Park's fight IQ is not his fucking it's not his most I don't know. He's a good fighter though, and I do think he will have a serious grappling advantage. Tululin has pretty bad takedown defense. People are saying oh well, he stuffed takedowns from fucking Jamie Pickett. He's a terrible fighter, dude. He is a fucking jobber. Park has beaten better fighters. I don't know, man. I think Tululin is on this close to the same level as a Marc-Andre Barrio, and even on the feet, man. Park, aside from the RoboCop fight, he does have a good jab. He does have good boxing. When he wants to, he'll move his head and is a good counter striker. And I think
that's where I question. He does not move his head much.
He can't. I've seen him do it, but fights so stupid that in fights where he should be moving his head like RoboCop, he fucking doesn't. It's dude.
And this is a fight again with Tulin where he should move his head.
Exactly.
That is my big worry.
Right. And I'm gonna be scared too, but I think he punches his way into the takedowns. I think he gets him without a ton of trouble, and I think he either gets a decision or chokes him out because I don't think much of Tululin aside from being a striker with a puncher's chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. Lou, what are we unanimous here for the second fight?
And Smith's MMA mentioned my bet in the chat. Round 3 or decision for the Turtle at plus 130 on DraftKings. I don't know what it is at other books if you have that group, but I don't think Tululin's. I mean, look, his tape pre-UFC was awful. It was kind of just wild, and he was like any other guy that won the Contender Series. It's probably going to lose his next 3 fights. That's what he looked like to me. I thought against Kizriev, look, man, he survived pretty well. He stayed out of trouble way more than I think people thought he would. He did take that fight on short notice, and then he crushed Jamie Pickett, who's stinks.
Right.
And then the Iron Turtle, what's nice about watching him fight is I think we know exactly what we get at this point. He's probably going to either, if he stands and bangs them for a few minutes, he's probably going to, if he gets hurt, he'll just go to shoving him up against the cage, making it ugly. I think he could make it really similar to the Anders fight to be honest. I think he could make it that kind of ugly clinch battle. Maybe not getting takedowns, but threatening him. I think Tallulah has 7-8 minutes of cardio at best. I think it's only a matter of time before Park gets takedowns. But Tallulah could survive. I mean, again, if he survived against Khizriev, who I think on the ground's shown me that he's pretty solid, he might be able to survive against Park. I mean, Park is not like some finish master.
No, Park's very okay going to a decision.
Yeah, he's a decisionator.
Yeah, I mean, and finishing Joseph Holmes, like, I mean, congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's right. Joseph Holmes lost to the aforementioned Jamie Pickett in probably in a fight that's probably worse than the Kim Mandy Bone fight's going to be. So I think Park's fine, just having control, throwing punches. I think Tallulah can probably stay out of trouble enough. But if he does finish him, if Tallulah is completely gassed, getting up from a takedown in the second, then Park could finish him if he gives him his back. So I like the round 3 decision at plus 130. Also, round 3 sub feels like probably have to at least take a poke on it. I would say round 2 sub, but Aaron, as you know, with me, I like betting round 3 better than round 2 because it pays more. So I will take
paying more as always, Bo.
On the round 3 sub with Park, but round 3 decision at plus 130 is a really nice way to cut that line down. Like you guys both said, anything outside of Tallulah and bonking him in the first 2 minutes. And even if he does, like I said, he probably just Park shakes it off and at least gets him up the cage and like recovers. And
he is called the Iron Turtle for a reason, and even Gregory Rodriguez had to hit him a lot before.
He does have a beard.
And Park had Rodriguez in trouble. That was one of the best like low stakes fights ever.
Great.
That's kind of what got him knocked out too. He's like, "Oh, I'm about to knock this motherfucker out." No, you're not.
No.
But and I forgot to mention too, I do have Park in a parlay. He's 1/2 of the only real parlay I have so far, but I think he gets it done.
Yeah, no, I do think he's a decent parlay piece at minus 200 overall as well. Plus 170 on Dennis Tallulah. Getting some respect from the books, so I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting that one to be a little more skewed here. All right, next is got to be our quickest breakdown of the night because it's going to be our longest fight of the night. Jin Yun Kim versus Mandy Bohm, the fight that many are claiming to bet, but why would you? I will not be putting $1 on this fight. I'll say the same thing I said to Lou before this. Mandy Bohm, she didn't look bad in Bellator or TKO. She was a champion over in TKO. I get it's not the UFC. She's coming into the UFC. She's lost 6 rounds. She's fought 6 rounds. Not great. Made the Queen of Violence look like the Queen of Violence for the first time in a while. I mean, Jin Yun Kim also has lost a ton of fights, hasn't won a fight in 5 years or something. She throws a lot of more volume, though. And Mandy Bohm has no striking defense. So Jin Yun Kim should just take a decision here. But good luck finding anybody to bet her when, I mean, just don't do it. So, Lou, what's your thoughts?
I'm really upset that the Kim fight against Agapova was because I stand for Agapova, and that was a winnable fight for her, as opposed to every other fight that Agapova's had against somebody with any semblance of takedowns. I'm never betting this fight. I'm not betting it with your money. I'm not betting it with anybody's money. I'm gonna have a couple of beers. I'll have time, I feel like, to do it. So
I call these steak fights. So this is when I make my steak. I always have a steak. So this is gonna be like a 11:30 steak, I guess, for me.
I mean, Kim, I'm doing a DFS show later, and I said I was going to mention DFS stuff, but I kind of whatever. I'll worry about that and the ones that matter. But sure. We were talking about there's a Prize Picks prop. If you feel the need, you just have to have a bet on this fight. The over 76.5 strikes for Kim. I feel like that hits. She's hit it in 4 of her last 5. Mm-hmm. I mean, against Cachoeira, I think she landed 170. Like, her volume's not the problem. It's that she really doesn't have an extreme amount of power, despite being called Fire Fist.
Which is great for your volume. That's great for volume.
But she's pretty durable. I mean, I don't know that Bohm, look, her cardio is not great. You know, if Bohm doesn't get her out of there in the first round, I don't think Bohm's going to go takedowns here. I'd be shocked if she did. I know that she's capable of it, but I doubt she will. She wants to convince everybody that she's a great kickboxer. She's just going to get out volumed, and then once this thing gets out of the first, it's going to be like 90-6 in strikes in the second round from Kim. So, no bet. Kim, no, I would never play this in DFS, ever. And maybe like you take a shot on the significant strikes if you're just a glutton for punishment, but have to have a bet on every fight.
Yeah. And 2 cents, you basically have the same thoughts here.
Yeah, this one's going to be real easy, boys. I hate this fight. I don't care to bet it. I really don't want to pick it. And I really don't even want to think about it. So this is what I'm going to do. I have a coin right here, and I'm literally going to flip this motherfucker right here, right now. And that's
here we go. Live pick.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
I'm excited.
Heads is Ji-Yoon Kim. Tails is Mandy Byrne. Here
Give
we
me
go.
that tails. Give me that tails.
Call it, boys.
Tails.
What do you think, Lou?
I'll go tails. Never fails.
It is heads. It is.
No!
There's my pick. There you are.
Oh, man. Back to back unanimous picks. It's my nightmare.
Well, in all fairness, they're forcing our hand with this one.
Well, they're forcing, yeah, exactly. Bohm plus 215, minus 255 for Kim. Bohm was a favorite in her first 2 fights of her UFC career. Just a little fun fact there. So, gonna move on there from that exquisite breakdown. Back-to-back flyweight fights. We got the men now. Hun Sung Park, our second Park of the night, taking on Sunjuk Choi. So Choi versus Park from here on out. How about that? This should be a good fight. I like most of the road fights on the card. I think that they're pretty solid. This one included. I think this is probably the closest one. Or maybe there's another one that's a little closer that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think it's a really close fight. Choi fights out of the Korean Zombies camp. We got a few guys on here, Dooho Choi as well. So we have a few Chois, a few Parks. But Senjuk, just not the most technical of strikers, I'll be honest. Pretty rigid striker at that. Beat Rama Sundapi and Queenlun on the road to UFC and just kind of used the same type of just using a lot of pace, using a lot of getting into his opponents, kind of past their striking range, trying to engage grappling. But, he's pretty effective with it, and he definitely doesn't slow down. Has not faced a great level of competition prior, obviously, with Zeus and Hex. Just not familiar with any of these, if I'm being honest. Hex is an Australian organization. Angels, Heroes, just not facing a good level of competition. But he's looked good so far in those 2 fights. Queen Lun had some decent experience going into that fight. Hoin Sung Park, Peace of Mind, great nickname, 27 years old. Looked better on the road. 2 first-round finishes, one by knockout and one by submission. The submission finish definitely got into some trouble there. That Tupnoy was lighting him up on the feet pretty badly. And I just don't think Choi has that sort of ability. Choi's going to have to wrestle him. Park has the advantage on the feet, but doesn't blow me away with his striking defense. I do think at some point that could really cost him. Not sure if it would be here. However, for me, I do think that Park is good enough to most likely get Choi out of there. I think Choi is going to give him some problems. So I think that it will probably be second or third round. I think the first round could be pretty exciting, but I think Choi eventually gets put away. So give me Park by I'll say a decision, but I'm tempted to have him continue to his finishing, but I think he goes to a decision here. I think we could see a little more tentativeness out of some of these guys. First time over in the States, final to make it to UFC. So really winning is the main objective, not finishing for I think we could see with some of these. So I like Park by decision. Let's go with 2 cents here because Lou did lead us off with the Bohm fight there. Lucky Lou. So 2 cents, with your thoughts on this 125 final.
It is a good fight. And I started taping this fight. I started with Park first. And I was like, oh, man, I'm all over this dude, like the striking, like his game. And then I started taping Choi, and I was like, ooh, my little baby nuts started to shrivel up. And I was like, oh, man, dude, I don't know if I'm getting the action on this one. And I really don't. I don't want anything to do with it. I do think Park wins, but Choi is pretty wild, man. And you said about the striking defense, like he's just kind of what do they call it? Volatility. I do think Park wins, and I do think he is a little heavier handed, and I think he will knock Choi out. But I agree with you, dude. It's going to be interesting. And man, I'm too much of a puss to lay anything down on this one. But give me Park.
Fair enough. So maybe a Park parlay might be in play for you. Lou.
All right, let's have some dissension.
Yes.
So this is going to be my first split decision bet of the card.
Yes. I don't hate it.
Plus 400 for the split, plus 700 for Park, plus 1100 for Choi. Of note that I think needs to be said here, the steam that has come in on Choi since the line came out. He's down to a plus 160 dog. I mean, he was more than plus 200, I believe, a couple of days ago. I'm not sure. To me, I feel like this is a decision all day. And if it is, Choi, they both have horrible striking defense. Let's get that out of the way. I think
I agree.
I think Park has marginally better striking. He seems to have more power. I don't love what I've seen from Choi's wrestling, but I do have to say he's training with better people too. So we don't really know the improvements that he's making. He's pretty young. If he gets lots of control time and then you have 1 minute of Park landing punches on him, those are the kind of rounds that get me to split decisions. That's kind of one of those things that I look for. I'm now realizing in my head, I should have looked up, and I still will, whatever the Korean word for yam bags is. I'm going to have to.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I did not either.
Yeah, but that's my responsibility as the whisperer that I should have looked that up. So the money movement is interesting. I think Choi, he's proven that he can go 15, and he doesn't seem to be tired. Like his cardio held up all right. He's not as active in the third rounds, but the biggest thing I worry about with Choi is he doesn't seem to be able to hold top position really well. Nice. And that's my biggest concern, is that if Park can sweep him, if they stay on the ground and Park just controls them, then Choi has no path. But I do think Choi, even late in the fight, he's going to look probably the fresher guy. This thing goes to the third round. I wouldn't love having a ticket on Park at -2 something. So give me this fight to end and split. I'll say Choi decision at plus 275 for the sake of having a bet on the show. But I really like the split props. Plus 400, plus 700, plus 1100. Please and thank you. Now I got to go to Google and figure out a word.
Yeah, no, thank you. Google away. No, I've been back and forth on this one. I do like the split play as well. Originally, after I was done with tape, Choi was my pick as well. So I've definitely been back and forth. I just think Park is the better guy, but I think Choi is going to take the fight much more to Park. Park might be a little too passive. Judges, we know what they like to see. So could be a close one there.
You ready? You ready for the word according to Google Translate?
Please.
I'm not going to say this to get thrown off the air, but yam bagu is literally the translation that and just so you know, just my 2 cents, I always give away a yam bag bet every week. That is a point deduction, a penalty bet that I like to do on DraftKings. They pay 20-1, except for the last Greg Hardy fight was 18-1. I think I moved the line.
So someone gets kicked in the dads.
I've never won one on a ball shot. I win them on eye pokes. I've never won on a ball shot. Like it bothers me greatly.
It's that white whale. We're gonna get it. So is this a Yambagu fight of the night?
No, and if I would have gone with the Bohm fight, it would have been clam bags. But
I clam bagu.
Clam bagu. I do have one I like. I do have a Yam Bags fight I like on this card that I'll.
Excellent. We will.
Come on, man! I'm bringing the goods.
Yeah, no, this is the information you're only getting here. So yeah, definitely don't forget to hit that like. And if you're not subbed already, you can be number 725 or 24. I don't know. Someone like subbing and unsubscribing. But next fight here. This is a very, very exciting tournament final here. Bantamweights. Rinya Nakamura versus Toshimi Kazama. Toshimi Kazama there. Nailed it. Duolingo paying off big time. Rinya Nakamura, this guy, I think he's the goods. I really do. He's got absolute hands. His wrestling, world class. His positioning on the ground. I mean, like, I know this gets used a lot, but I do think he has the potential to be Japanese Khabib. I think he's good. Kazama, good jiu-jitsu, decent on the feet, stands very square. He's going to either be willing to go down to the ground And I think Rinya is just going to dominate him. I don't think Rinya is going to have a problem with the jiu-jitsu, ground and pound or submission, one or the other. But I think Rinya is a real deal here. But Kazama, got into the finals off his opponent missing weight. So there's that. He looked okay on his debut, going to a decision with a 27-11 opponent, but honestly didn't really impress me that much in that spot. Rinya's explosive. His striking defense is not good. That's what's going to eventually cost him, I think. And Zhang Li, I'll give you a 5 fight at the end. But it's not going to cost him here. I just think Rinya is the real deal. He's probably going to wrestle him and ground and pound him. So I like the TKO finish for Rinya Nakamura in this spot. Let's go, Lou.
Couldn't agree more. I'm excited. Everything I've seen, I almost wish they weren't fighting each other. And I don't think we've seen the last of Kazama. He's pretty exciting. I know he had a couple losses early, but his style is exciting. And this is going to be one of those. It's going to be a rare fight, not rare, but where he doesn't have a wrestling advantage. Because I think in a lot of fights he's going to be able to rely on this. I just don't know where he's better here. I mean, I don't know what his path is, and I don't think Nakamura is going to get a sub. I guess it's in play. I mean, but yeah, I think ground and pound's probably what he's going to do. He's just going to. I don't know. I don't know if it's. He could get a club and sub here if he's just wailing on him, but I expect this thing to play out on the ground more often than not. He is my top DFS play. He's the roster. He's the anchor of every lineup I have. People are going to want to play Tyra at 9,600 on DraftKings. I'm going to be underweight to Tyra because he really needs to score. Like Tyra almost needs a first round finish to pay that off. Whereas Nakamura could take the third round, tons of control time, tons of strikes on the ground, and just completely break the slate with a massive score. So huge on him here. Echo everything you said. I like him by KOs plus 110.
Yes, I like
it. Which look, man, I've said this on my show. I think we talked about this last week. One of the tweaks that I've made to my betting strategy is I am trying to avoid taking people that are big lines and taking in the distance to cheat the line if the opponent is undefeated. Because even if the undefeated opponent is facing bums, we just don't know what they're like when they come under fire. That is not the case here.
Yeah,
Kazama has been knocked out, and he's been knocked out relatively recently. So I do think he's pretty exciting. I think we're going to see both. Like, definitely going to see Nakamura again. I do think we see Kazama. Maybe he gets a little more experience. Maybe he fights some better guys in the regionals. But I think we see him down the road as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a card in a year or two where you're like, this guy was on the card, this guy was on the card, this guy was on the card. And I believe Rinya is fully going to be the number one guy from this card in 2 to 3 years.
Dude, it's
maybe Tyra ahead, but both those guys.
Dude,
both those guys. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's a shame that this isn't in Seoul, man. Like, the more I've thought about this, is like, this would be so fucking awesome for the South Korean, MMA community at large, and like the Japanese too. It's just like, these are actually like decent fights, and kind of like, these are kind of going to be some like watershed moments for like, depending on who wins some of these. So it's like, it sucks that it's not over there.
Yeah. Do you have any different thoughts from us on this one here? Or?
No, like I started taping Kazama first, and I like what I saw as far as like the BJJ. Has really sneaky back takes. He's really nasty on the ground, and I was like, man, this guy's good. He's got all these like grappling medals. And then I literally went over to the Tapology for Rinya and saw that singlet, and I was like, nope, that's it. Like, good wrestling, like good lights out wrestling beats good BJJ. I've seen it too many times. I think like he probably justifies the line. I'm not going to bet the money line, but I do think he's going to fucking win. But for me, like, I could see maybe Kazama like being just like sneaky, like defending with sub attempts, but it's Rinya all day, and probably finishes him with a ground and pound if like Kazama can't threaten enough. But yeah, Rinya for sure.
Yeah, I mean, minus 435. It's rough for sure on that money line, but I also think it's somewhat justified. Plus 350 on Kazama here. Yeah, I think that Rindia should be able to get the finish here. I do think it comes a little later. So some good potential for some props maybe there. But that is one of the more exciting prospects on the card. Also pretty damn excited about this next prospect, Li Jiangyang, taking on Yiza here. Very, very good fight. Yiza, 22-3, tons of experience, even though a lot of it over lower levels of competition. Jiangyang, the Korean Tiger here, 9-1. Former champion with Road as well. Pretty prolific finisher. 2 very quick finishes on Road. It takes you less than 2 minutes to watch his tape on Fight Pass. So really no excuse there, and 2 very impressive finishes. This guy looks like he is ready to go, like good and ready to go. I think he could come and make a lot of noise in the UFC. The way he took that belly down armbar, he got the armbar locked in before he was even belly down. I mean, it was just right against the cage, used the cage perfectly too. So no problems transitioning from a ring with him at all, which is good to see. It looks like it's making him better. He's got good hands as well. He looks very confident there. Has faced a better level of competition than a lot of these guys as well. Yiza, you just look at the record, 22-3, very good. He's probably a little more well-rounded out of China. But I mean, he's facing 0-3s, 10-5, 4-7, 2-2, 11-10. Lost to the 24-11, got knocked out by the 24-11 fighter who lost on road to UFC. I mean, beating 6-5. Putting away a lot of these guys, but still his last fight with Matsushima, very, very good fight. The Sasu fight, impressive. Took it to the back and finished him quickly there, but was getting lit up in that fight a little bit. Yiza, he's well-rounded. I just don't think he is necessarily UFC level, and Jin Young is definitely UFC level. I think Jin Young gets the finish. I think that it's hard to say which way he gets to finish, but Jin Young, very, very good. And yeah, Z lost to Mark Alvarado as well. Yeah. So I just think Yiza has a classic padded Chinese record here in Jin Young, former champion over the road, showing the goods in both his UFC appearances. So give me Jin Young. Lou. You're muted.
I have like 19 tabs open. I was trying to.
No, same here.
Everything you just said. His record is ridiculously, like, it's not like Askarov, like, shit, but it's pretty bad. I mean, and some of these guys, you can't find tape on all of them, but some of these fights are, he needs to be gifted the back. I feel like his path to victory here is like Jiangyang Li just literally gifts him his back and says, like, you have 15 seconds to choke me out. Because even if he gets him down, I think Lee has shown he's decent enough off the ground. He wants this fight standing. Every second this fight's standing, Lee is liable to just murder him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Yi's going to be able to keep Lee down here. So, like, at all. I don't think there's anything about his top game that I was super impressed with. So, to your point, could he win with like an armbar on the ground? Could he get a reversal and do something? He could. So I just Lee in the distance and Lee KO, I think, is like a 10-cent difference. There's no reason to get screwy with that.
Yep.
Give me Jiangyang Li. And I don't like betting round ones, but this feels like a 1-minute finish kind of thing. And he is another one of my favorite DraftKings guys in the slate.
He's had 3 straight 19 seconds, 44 seconds, and 36 seconds.
So allegedly this should be tougher since it's been such a grueling tournament for him. So let's say it takes 76 seconds to get it done. Okay. Because I think Yi's probably going to go for a takedown in the first 10, 15 seconds if they have a good game plan. He has to. Don't you think he has to? Just almost spam it immediately.
I mean, but that's what happened with his opponent before his last, and he got that armbar real fast. So
yeah, Lee might get just come up with a knee, It doesn't.
Lee looks and he just the way that Lee's doing it also is very composed. He's winning these fights and not celebrating. He's just doing what he's expected to.
Lee with the knee to beat Yi.
Lee with the knee to beat Yi. Just my 2 cents. Is this a unanimous again?
First of all, that's bars right there. Fucking yeah, put a pin in that. But nah, man, I'm gonna follow suit. Man, I watched that Mew. I'm just gonna say Mew Choi. I can't pronounce the middle name there, but I tell you what, man, Lee is fucking tough. He's a good striker, and he does not mind walking through the fire to put his man away. I think he is going to knock Yi out. Like, the striking they're not in the same galaxy. And I do like Lee fucking sprawls and brawls, man. He gets taken down and he gets up. I agree. Like, Yi has good takedowns, but his top game ain't nothing to write home about. And yeah, on the feet, he's going to get lit the fuck up and probably knocked out. So yeah, give me Lee by knockout.
Yep. And it's, again, this is both their first times in the States. So that is the big caveat with all these fights.
Dude, Lee got some swag to him too, man. I noticed in that fight with Choi, he was like, he'd get punched and like smile at him. Like he might fucking put on for the South Koreans, dude.
Yeah, I hope so. I have high hopes for him. I'm expecting a lot out of him. And this is definitely one, when I saw he's at minus 250, I jumped on it. I think this is a really good line to parlay up. I'm a big double to triple parlay type of guy myself. So I do think he's a good parlay piece, including with Rinya. I like Lee as well. Minus 250 price tag, I'm okay with. Plus 210 on Yi Za here. So should be an interesting one. China versus South Korea at 145. Keep on going. I'm really excited for this one as well. It's the final, the 155 lightweight final.
And internet hates this fight. This is the 50-50 of the internet.
Yeah, everybody is positive on this fight.
The 50-50 of the universe.
Yeah. Anchul Jubilee versus Jika Serghei here. I'll call him Jika because that's what we know him as. But yeah, this is about as close of a fight as you can possibly have. Both sides have a lot to really like. Jika is the much smaller of the two. He's always smaller, though. Does not really bother me. This guy just goes in there and throws down. 5'8" versus 6 foot here, but same reach. And the other thing about the Indonesian that I like is that he has much more of a well-rounded ability. I think on the feet it can be very competitive, but Jubilee has that crisp boxing, really, really strong, but he does kind of slow down as the fight goes on. Jika does not. Jika keeps going and going and going. He's a little Energizer bunny. I love the way he fights. Super confident as well. I think he's going to become a fan favorite if he can get a win here. You see the spinning back fist finish on the road to UFC. Super impressive finish there of Panwan. Before that, he was mixing it up throughout that fight before that third round finish and really just wore his opponent down. Did the same thing with Juan Bin Ki, but finished him in the first round. Really works in and out of the distance well. I love Jika, man. I love what I'm seeing. I think he has the ability to make some waves. Maybe he goes to 145 eventually, but I think I like him at 155 where he's not having to make the sacrifices that I think his opponent has to make with regards to the weight cut, which is why he slows down. But King of Lions, Jubilee, 7 straight wins. But you look at the wins, they're with Matrix Fight Night, Sanjeet Butwar, Amit Raj Kumar, Rajiv Chandran, Sikara Sakara, Muhammad Muhammadin, and then Quing Pu Kim by split decision. Kim started to get him down, got 3 takedowns in the fight. My point here is I think Jubilee is pretty unproven, and I think the better MMA fighter is Jika. The one who's making less of a sacrifice on the scale is Jika. The one who's going to be able to push the pace is Jika. Jika. I'm on the Jika side of this 50-50 all day long. Already put my bet in when he was at plus money. Lou, where are you at? Or wait, no, 2 cents. Where are you at with this fight? And then Lou.
I'll tell you what. This is the 50-50 fight. This is the one that is going to be the most contentious. It's the one that's such a 50-50, but everyone is so goddamn certain about it. And I am going to be no different.
Right.
I am not. I'm not going to speak for Lou. I think I kind of know where he's going to go. but I'm going to be the fucking dissenting voice here. I'm going to be on the other side. Both of you might fucking disown me after this, but I taped this fight, and I taped it wanting to get on the Jekka side. Because you said it, dude. All I've been hearing all fucking week, Jekka, 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 Jekka. Everybody tailing each other on Jekka. That's all I'm fucking hearing. I tell you what, dude. Jubilee is getting a little disrespected because I'm going to push back with a couple of the things that you said as far as like level of competition. And yes, he is unproven. He has not been fighting like the greatest competition, but neither has Jekka. Jekka has really just been like crushing more cans. Like the last dude that he beat, Won Bin Ki, that motherfucker had been knocked out 4 times before he fought Jekka. And I think Jubilee's a little bit tougher than that. I think they've had a similar level of competition. And considering that Jubilee's only had 6 fights, I think he looks like the more put together fighter. Like on the feet is where I worry about him because Jekka hits so hard. But dude, Jekka is wild and sloppy on the feet. Like some of those hooks he is throwing are coming from the west side of the Mississippi River. Like, dude, he swings so wild and he's defensively irresponsible. He throws strikes to get into the takedowns. But when it comes to the grappling, dude, I actually think Jubilee's the better grappler. Like Jekka has stronger takedowns, but he does not have a good top game. I watched that. What is that dude's name? Let me fucking look. Solomon. What was that dude's name? That fight.
Yeah.
The guy, like Jekka would get the takedown and then just get fucking swept. Like, and that's something that Jubilee's actually pretty good at. Is like even when he gets taken down, he can reverse the position. Like I've seen guys like on his back and he fucking reverses the position. So like, I think he has the heavier top game. I think he's going to get the takedowns. I think like on the feet is where I worry about him. Like he has better defense, but he can get hit and Jekka cracks. So I am worried about Jubilee getting knocked out. But aside from that, I think he's going to make Jekka look kind of stupid, dude. A guy that's a clean boxer like that, you just start going in there and throwing wild, they're going to pull back, hit you with a pull counter or a check left hook. And Jubilee's got both of those, man. So on the feet, aside of Jubilee getting knocked out, I think he's going to win the minutes on the feet. And I think he's going to win the moments in the grappling. Like if Jekka might have the moments on the feet, but the minutes are going to be won by Jubilee. I think he's going to be the bigger guy. He's going to be the stronger guy. When he gets Jekka down, and let's be honest, Jekka has been taken down. He has been subbed twice by fucking jobbers. Have y'all seen Kevin Celestio? Did you watch the Kevin Celestio rematch? Like, I don't buy this like Jekka has an endless gas tank either. When he got to the 4th round against what's that dude's name? Saga Nans or whatever, he got fucking subbed. Like in the third round of the Celestio fight, look at how Jekka looks, man. I'm not saying that Jubilee doesn't slow down, but Jekka, like, he kind of loses his composure late in fights. Like, and he'll get the finish, but it's against some fucking nobody. Like, I don't think he's been fighting a way higher level of competition than Jubilee. He's just been crushing more cans. So I'm the dissenting voice here. I'm going with Jubilee. I have parlay Jubilee. So this is going to go one of two ways, and I think everybody wins here. If I'm wrong, it's going to be, y'all are the big smart guys. I'm the big stupid guy, and everyone can laugh in my face. But this is why I'm naming the parlay what I'm naming it. This is the fucking toe-to-toe parlay. A toe-to-toe, Julian. And that's what I'm going to say when Jubilee wins. A toe-to-toe.
See, everybody wants to tell everybody. So, Lou, do you want to actually let people know who you're picking? Because I don't know. I haven't talked to you about this fight.
You know who I'm picking because our boy Stubborn Mick has been DMing me for like a week and a half.
The Stubborn Mick pick of the night.
And even when I tell him who I picked, I'm like, dude, why are you still arguing? I already told you I'm on the same side as you. Like, there's no reason to like keep this up. I'm on the Jekka side. I'm not going to give you analysis. I'm going to tell you why. And I think just my 2 cents will at least understand why I'm picking him. He reminds me of like Indonesian Billy Q. Like his like He just does not care about defense. He's not really great in the first round, but he's still in the third round. He looks the same, and he just starts going for crazier and crazier shit and landed him. Is he a can crusher? Yeah, they're both can crushers. But Jake has crushed more cans, which means he probably has more grip strength from said cans, which I feel is very important here. If this was a phone book ripping competition, I'm like, Jake is minus 500. I don't love the measurables or in Jubilee's advantage, but Jake has at least shown like his power carries late. If I'm him, I don't want this fight on the ground at all. I definitely agree with just my 2 cents for that. I do not think Jake should want this on the ground. I think he should want it on the feet and make it as crazy as possible.
No, I think what I meant by
that.
Yeah, what I meant by that more is early on, no. But I think later in the fight, he's shown like he gives up the takedowns later in the fight. So Jacob can take that if that's there for him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jubilee's like the more, I don't want to say like normal, like cleaner, but also I just think he's never faced anybody like this. Like, and this is where experience does play a part. This is where being in a region where like martial arts have a deeper history, like in all fairness, I know it sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but
no.
And also I love Billy Q. So give me the guy that reminds me of Billy Q. Give me Indonesian Billy Q. That's his new nickname. If he wins, if he loses, I can't call him that.
It's a great analogy, dude.
But I don't have like super. That's the thing is like I'm the only person that doesn't have super confidence. Like I'm picking the guy who I just like better, and you're giving me even money to pick the guy I like better. Like
I got him at plus 105. He's at plus 100, minus 120 on Jubilee here as well. Jika, if I'm saying who he reminds me of, it would be Makdessi. That's
Indonesian
who
Mike Perry. Yeah.
Indonesian John Makdessi would be what I'd call Jika.
With a little more volume. With a little more volume, though.
Which is great. Yeah, exactly. That's totally fine. But should be a good one. We are 50-50 or as close as we can be on that one. Main card time starts out with a really good fight here. Yusaku Kinoshita taking on Adam Fugit here. I like both these guys. I will say that right off the bat. Adam Fugit has won me a lot of money. Shout out to Solomon Renfro finish where it's like 45 seconds of perfect striking. Finished him with a shoulder roll right hook. Fugit has legit striking, man. He's good. He's coming to UFC later in life, I guess you could say, because he's only 8-3 overall, but 34 years old. Art of War MMA taking on the 22-year-old 6-1 Kinoshita. He's going to have a 5.5 inch reach advantage here. And Fugit is the type of guy who is able to use that reach advantage. And I really like that. He likes to stay in kicking range. Kinoshita was a 7-inch reach disadvantage in his last fight, although Jose Henrique, I would not say is really that high of a level of a guy. I had Kinoshita in that fight. I thought he kind of struggled a little bit more than I was expecting, but Fugit 1-1 with LFA. Kalen Hill, another southpaw, did knock him out with kind of a crazy like flying knee Superman punch. It was really sweet knockout, but not exactly something I'm super worried about. His fight with Morales on short notice. I'm the biggest Morales fan on this stream. For sure, Morales is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC currently. He beat him in the first round of that fight, and that was on 4 days' notice or something. He took a shot to get into the UFC. It seems like the UFC is trying to set him up with a couple of young guys to expose him. I think Fugit has a really good chance in this fight. For one, it's like a 10-week camp, a lot of notice for this fight going in. I really like that. His other loss being to Austin Vanderford, who challenged for a title. He's fighting a decent level of competition. The Solomon Renfro fight, as I mentioned with LFA, won me quite a bit of money. I'm trying to let go of that. I like that he also has competed in Submission Underground. He's really developing his BJJ game. He's a Muay Thai champion as well. I like Fugit, man, a lot. I know I haven't talked about Kinoshita much. I'll let these guys talk more about him, but Kinoshita, I know he has a ton of hype coming in here. I know that he's a very good striker and everything like that. I just think he's of inexperience. I think that his first fight didn't really blow me away. I knew quite a bit about Henrique also in that fight. I expected Kinoshita to look better. I think Fugit has a lot of skills here. He's a good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu. That's a part that's not being talked about here at all. I do think Fugit looks to take this to the ground. I wouldn't mind looking into possibly playing Fugit in this spot. I think he could submit him also. I'll go with Fugit. I'll have some balls. Fuck it. Fugit by submission, round 2.
Woo!
Let's go over to, let's see, Lou.
Yeah, this is one of my dog spots on the card. I like it too. And just to add to your point, I was not impressed with Kinoshita last fight either. No. I think it was like a mix of like, I didn't like his composure. And like he got desperate. I felt like he fought desperate. I think he expected to go in there and win in 2 minutes. And when things didn't go his way, he was winging. I mean, a better opponent would have taken advantage. Now, you mentioned that the takedowns. You also mentioned Fugit using his kicks better. The one thing you didn't mention, he has a huge reach advantage here.
Yeah. Well, I did. I mentioned that at the beginning.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm sorry, man. Look, man, I try to listen to everything I can.
It's a lot of info.
But I mean, he's got the measurables. He's got experience. And he looked okay against Morales. I mean, all things considered, like Morales.
Great against Morales. Morales is so good.
Morales is probably a future champion, or at the very worst, top 3 contender. And I thought Fugit was impressive. I do like that he has takedown upside here. There is one more bet I like on this fight, though, guys.
Is this the Yam Bag special?
And this one's easy. I haven't seen Kinoshita really defend any takedowns, and I know for a fact he likes grabbing the cage. I know for a fact. I also love the fact that he didn't get disqualified for stomping the dude in the face.
No, he
got DQ'd for grabbing the cage while he stomped the dude in the face. So, is that in play? Sure. He's also young. He's 22. He's inexperienced and
extremely inexperienced.
And the most important thing I just mentioned is he's a guy who, even with a little bit of adversity in that Contender Series fight, I just didn't like what he looked like.
Agreed.
Typically, that's when you see guys. I'm not accusing him of being a ball shot master, but you start seeing people get desperate. You just never know. So
he got his eyes gouged like 7 times last fight. He might be like, I need some revenge on this.
And one last thing about the Yam Bag stuff, because there is a science.
This is a great one. Yeah.
Well, look, man, not everybody's an expert in Yam Bagology. No. You have 2 southpaws, which anytime I see a fight like that, typically lefty versus righty, I love because the stances are open. But when you see, guys aren't used to fighting southpaws. So it's always like a little bit of like, even if you're in the gym against them, it's still like a little bit of like fucks with your eye. But the way he stands and the way he looks for those counters, like I think Dan Levy called him like Japanese Conor McGregor, like the way he kind of like.
Oh yeah, everybody's calling him that this weekend. Everybody's like, this is the Japanese Conor McGregor. I love it.
But go watch his Contender Series fight. His fingers are out a lot. So look, man, it checks all the boxes for what I like.
I'm betting it.
All the criteria.
I am so sold on the
Yam Bagu play. So this is the play. By the way, I have a bonus one that I'm not as confident about. That's still to come, but I'm taking the dog shot.
It's got to be Lewis and Spivac, right?
I think the line is crazy disrespectful.
Agreed.
It really is. It's a hype line. I would line Kinoshita the favorite, probably, but like
minus 140. Yeah, minus 140, minus 170 range. Yeah.
So I'm taking the dog shot here, and I'm taking the Yam Bagu dog shot.
And we did not talk about this ahead of time at all. We have not discussed this fight ahead of time at all. So
let's see if we make it a unanimous.
2 cents. I might have poisoned the well with you. 2 cents.
Oh God.
Did I do it?
Well, first of all, Lou, thank you for schooling me on the ins and outs of Yam Baggery. I feel like a more cultured man already. So thank you for that.
It's good shit.
No, I'm gonna be the fuckhead on this one. I'm not. Surprise. All right. No, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. And I started taping Kinoshita first. Love it. I'm a sucker for the striking and the boxing. So I was like, oh, man, this guy's good. He's going to chin check Fugit. That's the dude that got knocked out by Morales. Oh, yeah. In the bag, Kinoshita by KO. I'm going to bet it too, bro. I'm going to bet the fucking first round, Kinoshita, all this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I started taping Fugit beyond the Morales fight, and my little chode went right back into my body. It's not happening, man. Like, I'm not going to bet this. I'm staying the fuck away from it. I'm going to pick Kinoshita because I don't trust Fugit's chin. But if he gets the takedowns, I think Kinoshita is going to get choked. I do think Fugit is that good on the ground, and I think this is kind of a very much a striker versus grappler. It's like Fugit isn't terrible on the feet. I just think if he plays that game, like he went tough with Morales, but he still took a bunch of damage. Like
he's just a little too slow.
Yeah, and exactly, dude. I think speed kills here. So I'm going to pick Kinoshita by knockout, but there is no way I'm touching it. I'm going to give Fugit the respect there. And I'm actually pulling for you boys. I'm hoping that catches because I think Fugit is being overlooked, and I think the line's too wide.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get that Japanese Conor McGregor label out there, like you kind of know, what you're going to get. But I mean, the other thing, I really like Fugit's jiu-jitsu. I like that he's a Muay Thai champion as well, so he's going to be very competent there. I like that he has more experience fighting in the States. I get Kinoshita does have the one, but yeah. We got Kinoshita minus 350, plus 270 on Fugit. I mean, I am going to have to put a bet down on Fugit, just money line. And I do think he gets a finish, so I'm going to be looking into the submission as well, because that would be how I'd favor the finish. So should be a good one. Good way to start out the main card there, and good information there from everybody. Next fight, this fight's a fucking mess, dude. It's on the main card. I hope it's fun. I'm worried it's not going to be personally. Do Ho Choi versus Kyle Nelson here. Kyle Nelson with his one win coming over, Polo Reyes? That's who he beat. Beat him in like a minute or so. No wins over anybody who's still on the roster. He's got good leg kicks. His hands are so much slower than Do Ho Choi that, again, the speed's going to be an issue here for Nelson. If Nelson can't land that power, Nelson's got to wrestle here, right? He's got to just wrestle. He's coming, and I've watched, some tape on Nelson. I've watched some interviews. He's saying he's looking forward to a striking challenge. I think he's just talking there. Claims his 145 cuts his best of his career. I don't like him at 145. But, if he, makes the cut well, it could, lead to him being able to wrestle for the 15 minutes. I think on the feet, Do Ho Choi is just so much better. Has a real chance of finishing him like Billy Quantillo did. But Do Ho Choi hasn't fought in, 4 years almost now, where he lost to Charles Jourdain in Busan. He's from Busan, by the way. Lost to Jeremy Stevens, got absolutely KO'd by him after that war with Cub Swanson. I don't think he's been the same since the Cub Swanson fight. I don't think he's going to be the same after that. I don't think he's going to be able to reach those same levels. These wars catch up to him. And even though he's been off for a few years here, I don't like it, man. I don't. I'm not trusting him. I'm not betting Kyle Nelson. I am picking Kyle Nelson, though, for two reasons. For one, I think he's going to probably wrestle him. I don't think Do Ho Choi is going to come back that sharp off the layoff. Has a lot of injuries he's been dealing with over the last few years also, which I don't like at all. And I think the power of Nelson could play a factor early on. Wouldn't surprise me if he knocked out Do Ho Choi. It really wouldn't. Do Ho Choi has been compromised since that Cub Swanson fight, and then it came with two more big knockouts after that. I get he's taking time off, but he's taking time off not of his own choice, but because he's been an absolute wreck, and now he's coming back.
I thought he was in the military.
He was injured. He couldn't serve in the military because of his injuries. So, including like a pretty serious eye injury. Which I get at Michael Bisping, but Michael Bisping is the exception. You need your eyes in fighting. His last win came in 2016 against Thiago Tavares. Okay? I just think that Kyle Nelson, again, I'm starting out the main card with two shitty white dogs, but I like Kyle Nelson in this spot. He could pull a Polo Reyes, get an early stoppage with the power, or do the smart thing and just use his wrestling and make this a boring fight and break Doo Ho Choi's fight of the night streak at 3. So I got Kyle Nelson, and I think he's going to wrestle him. Let's go over to you, 2 cents.
Dude, that was a great breakdown, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I'm going to go the other way and pick Doo Ho Choi, but the things you were saying about Nelson is why I'm not betting him. I'd really thought about it because I was like, man, yeah, like he's been on a skid and he's been out for 3 years, but it's like I don't put any of the guys that he's lost to, like they're all better than Kyle Nelson. Like Kyle Nelson to me is like
another
like who's Kyle Nelson's best win? Polo Reyes? Like I don't know, man. I'm gonna pick Doo Ho Choi. Like it's a wreck, man. It's kind of a train wreck. I think it's going to be a train wreck fight. I think if Kyle Nelson wrestles, I think he can have success and win the fight. Mm-hmm. But it's like I don't trust him. I don't trust either of them to do that. I think it's just going to be let's get into this phone booth and beat the living fuck out of each other. And like I trust Doo Ho Choi. They both have power. I think Doo Ho Choi is a little bit better of a striker, but I'm not touching it. Give me Doo Ho Choi by knockout because I don't trust Nelson's chin, but I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not betting this fight. Lou.
I mean, do I have to pick somebody for the sake of the show?
It's really bad show when no one picks anybody.
I mean, I'm going to take Choi for the sole reason that he's not Kyle Nelson. He's not South Korea's favorite son, Kyle Nelson. That Nelson Herbert fight was like, I'm like, how does this go the distance? And I think that was like just like a massive parlay piece for me, like an anchor and like everything. And I'm like, my God, do I fucking hate both of these two? Like for this. And then your boy, Mike's MMA picks, Mr. Jokester. He posted a video of Nelson and he called it a valiant takedown attempt on Herbert. And he was like, I think he landed on like his right foot. And I'm like, valiant's definitely a word in the English language. I don't know that it describes this takedown attempt. If Nelson, I'm not convinced Nelson, I mean, could he get takedowns? I don't know, man. Look, we haven't seen Choi in so long.
We haven't seen a Choi win in 6 years.
But we haven't seen him in
That's
so
crazy,
long.
dude.
But we don't know.
He beat Thiago Tavares. That's the last time he won a fight. Thiago Tavares.
Cub took his soul. Like, I mean, there's no doubt about it. But he still had moments, and he still had moments against Stevens, like where he kind of like was showing flashes of his old self. The thing about this fight is, if he shows 20 to 25 seconds of his old self, he probably gets Nelson the fuck out of there. So so I'd pick Choi. I'm never betting this, and I've seen a lot of people hammering this under 2.5 minus 180.
No,
why?
know.
Why would you, especially Nelson coming off decision against, look, I don't like Herbert, but he's a guy that's got some explosive power too.
Choi's coming off 2 skull-crushing knockouts.
Like, Choi's not going to be super tentative in there. Like, I mean, this could be a staring contest for the first 5 minutes. How good do you feel about your under? Like, so there's no angle on this fight. Like, not even, like, I was going to say this is like my bonus yam bag one because, like, if I have to have action. But, like, I can't even do it here because are they even going to kick each other? Like, it could literally be a staring contest for 5 minutes of 2 guys that, like, just don't want to die. But give me Choi based on him not being Kyle Nelson.
Yeah, I think I really, just one more thing on that. I'm tempted to play the over, honestly, because I like a good plus over for one.
You're getting a good price on it.
And for another, these guys their reputations are getting them this under at this price. They're not those guys anymore. They're 2 guys who are trying to save their career. Kyle Nelson loses, he's fired. Doo Ho Choi loses, he's probably 1 fight away from being fired. Like, so that does not lead to a lot of quick finishes, like often. Like, so yeah, I'm on the Nelson Island here. Starting out the main card with Adam Fugit and Kyle Nelson. This might be a very painful Sunday morning when I wake up because I'm not betting. Not betting Kyle Nelson. I am betting Adam Fugit. Not betting Kyle Nelson. I'm still starting out my main card with Adam Fugit and Kyle Nelson. It's not a comfy spot to be before the fights. Maybe after the fights, I feel like I have the biggest nuts in town. But right now, not feeling great. And honestly, if I'm looking for comfort, it's not going to come in the next fight at 265 here between Marcin Tybura and Blagoy Ivanov. Oh my God, this fight. Fun fact, Blagoy Ivanov is the younger man. So right off the bat, like Blagoy Ivanov is not the oldest man in the UFC, which I find shocking. He's younger than Tybura and many other fighters. So go figure that. But yeah, this fight's nasty. It's gross. Whichever side you're on, congratulations. I'm happy for you. I just don't know how you can be that confident. Blagoy Ivanov, 19-4, 36 years old, again, younger than Tybura. Been fighting, training out of AKA. Had a really sketchy win over De Lima, which
he did not win that fight. He didn't win that fight.
I bet Blagoy, so I'm going to say he won it. But yeah, unanimous decision somehow. Before that, split decision against Sakai, split decision against Derrick Lewis. That Derrick Lewis fight was cancer, just horrible. Had a win over Tai Tuivasa, Ben Rothwell. I mean, he's only lost to, really heavy hitters and very, high level guys in Bellator like Alexander Volkov, Junior Dos Santos, Lewis, and Sakai. Marcin Tybura, he's getting way too much credit right now. That last fight was a disaster. It was so bad, and he's just lucky that Romanov fell off a literal cliff. I don't think people remember Tybura has been slowing down in his fights too. Blagoy, this fight was set up a while ago. They've been bound and determined to have it. For me, I think that whichever side you're on, congratulations. I'm going to be on Blagoy's side here, and simply because Tybura backs up and allows his opponents to hang on the cage all the time. And Tybura has been slowing down a lot. If you don't look at the last two fights and you look deeper, this guy slows down. He's very hittable. I think Blagoy edges this one out. Decision. It's gross. Who goes next? Let's go with you, Lou.
So, fun fact: I was also on Blagoy, the Bulgarian 50 Cent, last time he fought against De Lima. He grabbed the outside of the cage. That was not called. It absolutely should have been. But I want to say this: there's only one guy. His fun trivia thing for you. He won and he scored at that time the lowest score anybody's ever scored in a DraftKings contest for a win. He scored 64 points. You get 30 for the win. He got 34 points. Now, you want to know who beat it this last year? We actually had a lower score in a decision win. Johan Lioness, of all people.
Oh, no, my boy.
He scored like 58. And like the thing is like, and he was like the field, like he had tons of ownership in that contest because the guy had because he has finish upside. Even if you didn't like him to win, there's a Gabe Green fight, I think.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah, but he had everybody took him because he has finish upside. You don't expect him to win a decision where he throws no punches. So it was great. Thanks for getting me points. So Blagoy got me the bet. He killed my lineups. I'm like, I gotta get somebody cheap. And I figured De Lima would just wilt because that's what De Lima does. Even if you just push him over and it's second round finish. That's how you beat De Lima. I mean, the steam has come in. People are hammering Blagoy, the money line. And I don't get it because I don't know how you could feel so good either way.
I'm not betting it.
I'll pick Tybura. I know he's slowing down. I did have Tybura split decision against Romanov, one of my proudest bets that I made last year because it was plus 850, just to go to split, and then it was plus 1600 to hit it. I was like, yes. Yep. I guess I trust Tybura's fight IQ more. I mean, I don't know how to really spin it. He knows to go for takedowns. It's very possible he could just be bodied against the cage for 15 minutes because Blagoy kind of seems that that's what he wants to do and land a shot every 30 seconds just to
it's gonna be
not get yelled at. But
fight.
Yeah, I'm not betting it, but I'll lean Tybura because the numbers come down enough where I'm give me the guy that at least has beaten better competition, I guess. Sorry for the expert analysis on this.
Yeah. Save some of that for the big time, Lou. 2 cents. Which side are you on in this split decision type of fight?
Oh, God. I don't know why I fucking do this to myself. Boys, full disclosure, I fucking hate Marcin Tybura, and I am god-awful at picking his fights, dude. Like, really, really bad. But I'm just a glutton for punishment, dude. And here we go again. Just fucking thank you, sir. May I have another? Like, I'm on the Blagoy side. I take it, and I could be the cautionary tale, like the amateur dumbass that, like, gets made an example of. But I'm on Blagoy, and let me tell you why, for the sake of the show. Blagoy is not like super great at anything, right? He goes to all these split decisions. He's not like the best grappler. He's not the best striker.
He doesn't even grapple in the UFC. He just he's never, and he's a Sambo like world champion. Like, you look at his credentials, and then you look at him fight, and it's two different people.
His grappling involves just standing up and like
guys.
Shoving
do you see that scar on Blagoy's chest?
He's the Bulgarian 50 Cent, dude.
Dude, he has been stabbed in the heart and lived more than like anyone else alive.
He's 50 Cent. He's deep. 50 Cent, dude. I'm telling you.
He is, man. That's a great fucking that's great. Perfect.
And he's not rich yet, so he's still trying.
I know, dude. He I don't know if he's gonna die trying though, because you can't kill him. But this is how it came down. Like, when I started taping it, yes, like on paper, the Spivac win is aging really well for Tybura. He does have some decent wins in there, like, but does he? Like, Romanov's a fucking fraud. Harris is chinny, and he just out-grappled him. We know how bad Hardy is on the ground. Blagoy is tough to take down, dude. Like, he's not impossible, but he's tough to take down. And if you look at some of their similar opponents, like, I'm sorry, I picked Blagoy in that fight, but I thought he got robbed against Serghei. I thought he landed the heavier strikes, and like Serghei won that fight basically by fucking leg kicks. Mm-hmm. And I went back and watched the DeLima fight. I was on Blagoy in that fight and like thought I got away with one, but then I went back and watched it and like, I don't know, dude. I think Blagoy won that fight. I don't think that was that controversial.
Nobody won that fight. Nobody really.
He was beating the shit out of DeLima in the second round, and he kind of did some more in the like. I thought he clearly landed the heavier strike, so. I don't know, man. I'm a little less bullish on that one, but this is what this fight comes down to. And the reason I'm picking Blagoy, and the reason my fucking dumbass is betting Blagoy, I took the Blagoy money line, got him at plus 120. But what a lot of people are not talking about, especially on the Tybura side, is his fucking chin. It is not good, dude. Tybura is fucking chinny, and I think it's going to rear its ugly head again. I think Blagoy is going to knock this motherfucker out. If you go back and watch some of the punches that he hit DeLima with, DeLima is tough, dude. DeLima's only been knocked out once. It was a long time ago, too.
Very true.
Marcin Tybura is not that tough. You fucking crack that dude on the chin a couple good times, and he's either going to start looking for the exit or he's going to start doing the fucking chicken dance. And I think Blagoy is going to knock this motherfucker out. I'm probably going to be wrong and look stupid, but hey, that's what I'm here for.
Plus 600. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, I saw the plus 600. I was...
Not bad for a heavyweight fight. That's, dude.
I mean, if you go back and look at
Tybura is extremely chinny.
Go back and look at the Tai Tuivasa fight. Like, he stood with Tai in the phone booth for 3 rounds, beat the Christ out of him, dropped him, could not miss with the left hand or the right hook. I think he's gonna fucking flatten Tybura.
You're gonna make me bet this, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Cue the you're gonna make me bet Tybura versus.
Dude, look, I'm an amateur.
I like it. That's great.
I'm an amateur, whatever. I see plus 600. Everything else goes blank. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like, he's not just like a first rounder bust with the KO there, and you got that plus 600.
When's his last KO?
Oh, it's
I gotta look this up. Its last KO was Sean Jordan.
Sean Jordan, the guy that knocked Lewis out twice, or the knocked.
So he's knocked out a guy more 2017. So he's knocked out a guy more recently than Doo Ho Choi has a win. So just saying. And like there was the spots in the DeLima fight. There was the spots in the Tai Tuivasa fight and the Ben Roth. Like he's not knocking out like Ben Rothwell. There's no shame there. Tai Tuivasa and DeLima, which DeLima's really tough. So Tybura has been knocked out. What?
And he had DeLima had a huge size advantage over. Like, I mean, it didn't look like the same weight class.
I like the KO poke. Damn it. Honestly, 2 cents, that was pretty damn convincing.
So now I get the prop to consider, and then maybe I bet it.
Yeah, plus
God, I'm gonna lose you guys everything now, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck this dude."
Dude, I'll bet Look, I'll bet $10 on it. It's nothing to me. I make that in a week. Exactly. I make that shit in a week.
Damn, show off. Plus 115 on the money line, minus 135 to Tybura here. Blagoy, well sold there, 2 cents. So I will be thanking for blaming you on Saturday night or Sunday morning, actually, since we're going on South Korean time. Co-main event time. Da-Un Young. Good. I didn't get the wrong person. I've been worried about that all fight. Da-Un Young taking on Devin Clark. Dwight Clark. Who the hell is Dwight Clark? What is that? I don't know who Dwight Clark is, but either way, Devin Clark.
He played receiver for like the Niners or some shit.
No, there's got to be
for the Cowboys. Dwight. He played for the Cowboys.
Is that okay? Yeah, I know. So Devin Clark, Brown Bear here, 13-7, legs for days. Had an awesome performance against William Knight. Led that to a not awesome performance against Versakhanov. The dude just takes a lot of punishment to his face, unfortunately. That's my biggest problem with Devin Clark. I do think, I'm a little bit worried of him starting to wear down here. The Kudalaba fight was really rough to go back and watch, for example. But yeah, he's one of his last 4. His one win coming over a bloated, overweight William Knight. He's going to go for takedowns. He's going to go to, maybe strike to move in for the wrestling. Da-Un Young should have a pretty big advantage when it comes to the feet. He's going to have a huge size advantage as well here. Coming off of a loss to Dustin Jacoby. Got knocked out in that one. Does have some chin issues, got rocked against Sam Alvey as well, rocked bad, and went to a draw. This is just a guy who I can't really trust. He had the Njoku fight, but other than the Njoku fight, I have not been that impressed. The William Knight fight, he went to William Knight's clear weakness, which was the grappling, the wrestling. I don't think he's going to have that same success here. I don't think he has the power to really, get Devin Clark's respect. I think Devin Clark's going to be all over him here, man. Dwight Clark might have a worse chance, but Devin Clark, for me, he's good enough on the feet. He's good experience. He gets knocked out by very strong strikers. Versakhanov, the way Versakhanov knocked him out there, I just don't think Da-Un Young really has that type of game in him. Da-Un Young, I'm seeing a lot of people really trusting him. I'm going to go with Devin Clark. He's just faced a better level of competition, more experience, and more sure of his game plan here, which is just going to be to wrestle and clinch. So Devin Clark here by decision. 2 cents.
It's another good breakdown, dude. This is a sketchy-ass fight.
Sketchy main card. The entire main card sketchy.
It is, dude. It's so fucking greasy. And, I don't know what it is in my stupid fucking brain that is like, nah, get in on that shit, dude. Jump in that fucking grease pool. Just fucking swim around in that shit. And, I kind of want to do that here. I might still. I'm on the Da-Un Young side. I really don't like Devin Clark is tough, but, man, has that dude taken a lot of punishment. And he, I understand not trusting Jung. He got knocked out, but I think Clark actually got knocked out more recently, if I'm not mistaken. The Jacoby knockout was back last July.
Yeah, but Jung almost got knocked out by Sam Alvey.
I know. And his chin is really dodgy. Mm-hmm. I don't think very highly of William Knight, so I don't really that was a pretty big upset to me, but maybe it's not. Knight fucking sucks. But and Da-Un Young can put him away. So I was kind of tempted to bet the Da-Un Young KO because I do think he has it's not one punch power, but I do think he's pretty heavy handed. And Devin Clark, he's kind of just a sucker for a beating, dude. The dude takes a shit kicking in a lot of fights. he's tough, but I don't know. I think at some point, like the lid is going to get screwed off, and he's just going to start getting easier to knock out. I kind of think that happens here, but I don't know if I have the sack to fucking bet it. But I'm going to pick Da Un Jung by knockout.
Yeah, and the Khadis Ibrahimov fight. Khadis one of the worst fighters in the last 15 years in the UFC. He came in at 8-0, and he just was so bad. Won the first 2 rounds against Da Un Jung before giving up that guillotine. So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts on this one, Lou?
So the last time, not the last time, but this was another internet war where everybody was big on either Da Un Jung or Jacoby. And I'm like a Factory X fanboy because, like, Cody Brundage is my guy, like, friend of the MMA Engine channel. Nice. I was all over Jacoby, and I'm like, the line was moving big toward Young, and I'm like, so I was
on Young.
I asked Cody, I'm like, is Jacoby like missing a limb? Because I don't understand this. If it's just going to be a stand, I mean, like, Jacoby, look, he is what he is, and like, I'm not even going to talk about his last fight, like, but like, he does one thing pretty well, and that's he's a pretty good kickboxer. This is going to be a fight that was standing. I'm like, I'll take the guy that like I trust, at least to like throw enough volume and fight a smart game plan. I didn't think he was going to knock him out in 3 minutes, but I thought he could out volume him because I don't love Young's volume. The Nchukwu fight is the weirdest knockout, and that was like I think I went 1-10 that day in my bets. Because that opened the
card. That was a brutal day, yeah.
Well, that opened the – was that the same one where Diakese got choked out in like 30 seconds?
Okay. Yep, Diakese was one of my safest picks.
Yeah. When Nchukwu got knocked out like through his guard – or through like his, his guard, like blocking his face, I'm like, this is going to be a long fucking day. Like, that's when I knew. I'm like, shit. I'm just going to have one of them cards. I mean, you guys brought up Alvey, like nothing more needs to be said there. I don't trust either one of them. I like fight starts round 3 at even money because Devin Clark is not some like world beater. And if he goes to the wrestling, like you saw William Knight, like it took him time. If he goes to the wrestling, I think a lot of it because Clark's got to conserve his tank. You guys talk about the damage he's eaten, which is true, but but his tank doesn't look great. It traditionally, like he can't wrestle for 15 minutes. So I think Clark's got to pace himself. If it stays on the feet, Da Un Jung's low enough volume. Clark's going to just kind of keep distance, make this a boring fight, try to get a takedown. I don't know how much success he's going to have because of the size. This really is like a pronounced size difference here. But if he does get him down, I mean, I know Jung's takedown defense statistically is good, but like that's kind of a fraud stat.
Yeah.
But if Clark gets him down, I can see him just kind of low volume, like position over anything else and just try to win minutes. So fight starts round 3 is plus 100. I don't know who the fuck to pick here, man. I dread that I even have to pick one, but
you do.
But I'm gonna make a play on the fight starts round 3. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll take. You know what? I'll take Da Un Jung because I hate Devin Clark's dad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Devin Clark's dad's a pretty awful person.
Yeah, there's somebody who made a video this week about this fight. I'm not going to say who, and I'm not going to say what the contents were. But what I will say is, there's nothing better than when you're being just out wrestled and beaten on the ground for minutes at a time to hear your dad in the corner saying, "Get up." Like, there's no better coaching than that. So, like, dude, I can't stand his dad. I'm sure he can't stand his dad.
Okay.
Like,
daddy issues. So,
and it's in the Apex, so you're going to hear him.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to hear all the coaching. Him and Dean Thomas just, they're the insight that I'm going to hear from both of them is going to floor me.
Dean Thomas.
They're going to make me seem like a fucking pro handicapper.
Dean, tell me more about Leon Edwards quitting.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents. What's your 2 cents on this fight?
He already picked.
Oh, so who'd you pick? Sorry.
I got Jung by knockout.
Okay, you did. You did. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm getting all fucked up here, right? All right. So getting to the odds here, June is the favorito, pretty big favorite here at minus 250, plus 200 on Devin Clark. Devin Clark's IQ scares me too. A lot about Devin Clark scares me. But yeah, I'm on the Devin Clark Island here. I got a lot of dogs on this main card. In fact, so far I have 4 dogs. Do I complete it with the 5th dog? Do I go full dogs for the main card, which is just suicide? But my picks are what they are. Derrick Lewis versus Serghei Spivac here in the main event. This one, I don't know what to really think about this one, if I'm being honest with you. I like that Lewis is getting into shape. That doesn't really bother me at all. He's definitely going to have the power. So Serghei Spivac just doesn't really scare me with his finishing ability. So for me, Serghei Spivac, can he avoid the power of Lewis for 25 minutes? I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that Spivac does not have the success here. He finds that banana peel at some point in this fight. It might happen in the first 40 seconds. Might happen in round 2. It might happen in round 5. It's going to happen at some point in this fight. Spivac's just going to take him down, hold him, throw a little bit of ground and pound. That's not going to work. And Lewis is going to get up a lot. So Spivac's going to have to keep taking him down. I think if one of these guys gasses, and it could actually play a role, it might be Spivac. And then once Spivac starts to get tired, the defense goes down, the takedowns aren't working, and Lewis puts him away by KO. 3rd round or later, I'll say. But Derrick Lewis, knockout, Black Power. Happy Black History Month. Who's leading us off, Lou?
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah. 5 dogs on the main card.
And Spivac does nothing for me.
Nothing.
He's not the proletariat bear of Moldova, who was a wrestler in Philly's own Chikara promotion years ago. I just wanted to figure out a way to work that. Whenever him or Kutayaba fights, I find a way to work that in. The proletariat bear of Moldova, he is not. There's just nothing about him that's impressive to me. And the thing is the guys he's taken down and beat, Greg Hardy just has not only does he have horrible talent, but Greg Hardy has horrible balance. I know he's a good athlete, but just even the way he would stand, his balance was terrible. It didn't take much. Right. And Sakai is a bum. You know, he took down Van Dera. Congratulations. He was smart enough not to take down Olynyk. And that was dicey.
That fight. Ugh.
And that was dicey. And the thing is, yeah, I like that Lewis is getting in shape. I've seen you can give me an argument that Lewis now is getting to an age where he's kind of just showing up for a check, but you don't get in shape like this just to show up for a check. He probably feels better. In all fairness, at heavyweight, you're 1-2 fights away from a title fight again. You just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, and Spivac, we've seen him just crumble. Give me the guy with main event experience who's good in the Apex. And my girlfriend got me my Balls Was Hot shirt for Christmas.
Yes.
So, which I'll be wearing tonight on another show that I'm on. So
a
so
bigger, better show.
Look, sometimes it's as simple as who do I trust more? I strangely enough trust Lewis. He's won me. He's won me more money. He's been good to me. I've also known when to fade him, except the Pavlovich fight, which was really fucking stupid. Because I'm well, there's no way he's losing. There's no way he's losing to a Russian in Texas. Whoops. So all the time props suck here. Even fight doesn't start round 3 is -200. I don't have any interest in that. Give me Lewis just to give me a KO shot and send all of South Korea home happy.
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned with trusting Lewis more here, because frankly, the last 3 dogs that I picked on the card, all 3 of them, I trust them more than the favorites as well. Sure. So I can't quite say that for Kyle Nelson. That is more of a straight fade of Doo-Ho Choi's body at this point.
But you're not betting Nelson. You're just picking.
No, I'm not. And Fugit, I am betting, and I do have confidence there, and it's just based on a few different things. But there's a lot unknown about Kinoshita still. So I can get arguing who's more trustworthy there. But I think Blagoy is more trustworthy and more reliable than Tabora overall. I think Devin Clark's more reliable than Da Un Young. And I do think Derrick Lewis is better than Spivac. So, yeah, Lewis is a heavyweight. Trash. Never was impressed. Not now. How are you not impressed? What, are you crazy? Oh,
but how are you impressed with Spivak is the question.
Right.
He's not impressive to me.
This is weird. He's got Spivak at minus 210, but Lewis is not impressive. Okay. Whatever. All good. Agree to disagree there, but just my 2 cents. We got some people waiting for your thoughts.
Well, I mean, just take a wild guess who I'm going to fucking pick on this one. Man.
We're unanimous.
No. No. Dude, anyone that's known me for a significant amount of time knows that I am one of the biggest fucking Derrick Lewis detractors.
Yeah, you are.
I think he is a fucking chinny, overperforming jobber. And I think he can only, outside of Curtis Blades, those are and Volkov at the end of a fight where Volkov was beating the ever-loving shit out of him. He does find a way, and this is the kind of level of fighter that and this kind of type of fighter that he does this to, like a grappler that thinks they're, can stand with him. But, the fucking Lewis getting in shape thing does scare me. I'd be lying to say otherwise.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
To me, he is going to be in better shape, I do feel, but I'm going to pick Spivac because it is a Lewis fade.
Do you think Spivac gets a finish?
I actually do.
Okay.
I do. I think he gets a ground and pound finish because.
Wow. Interesting.
And the reason I say that is not because he has some kind of crazy power. Dude, Lewis is a fucking quitter. I've seen that motherfucker pack it in one too many times. And I just think this is a combination of getting up there, and I've heard this narrative too many times. Oh, Lewis has got his back to the wall. He's not going to lose this one. Oh, Lewis is in Texas. He's not going to lose this one. Sorry, Luke. But I hear that shit all the time. But I have seen Lewis enough that I pretty much know what I'm going to get from him. And I'm just not I don't really know if I'm going to have the testicular fortitude to bet Spivac, but goddamn am I tempted to. I feel like the writing is on the wall with Lewis. Again, this is, dude, for the Lewis backers, hearing all this loudmouth bullshit about Spivac is just, I'm sure it's going to be you can go back on this and laugh in my face so many times if I'm wrong on somebody.
Same here,
dude. It's gonna be a treat for anyone fading me or these picks. But I got Spivac. I think Lewis, his best days are behind him. I think he's a quitter, and he does have good get up ability. Let me just get the fuck up. Yes. But he does get taken down, and Spivac is pretty fucking heavy on top, and it's not like he's never been whooped on the ground before. Who's another guy that's heavy on top? Cormier. I'm not saying Spivac is Cormier, but Lewis is also 38. He's been knocked out 7 fucking times. He's a quitter when the going gets tough. Give me Spivac. And all this shit, of course, Spivac is just going to get one punch, and there you go. But yeah, give me the fucking polar bear, and there you go.
All right. That's good shit. And so we are once again split on this one. I've got, I think, the first main card I've ever done on this channel where I picked all of the underdogs. So that feels great right now. Minus 225 on Spivac, plus 190 on Mr. Derrick Lewis. I'm going to really quickly go through the picks and give my 5-fight parlay. I'll give my 5-fight my parlay at the end here. We're all on Tatsuya Taira here. We're all on Mr. Junyoung Park. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit here, but yeah, we're all on Taira. We're all on Junyoung Park. 138.20. We're all on Kim. So the first 3 fights we're all in unanimous on. And now starting here, I'm going to go around. I am on Hunsung Park. Who are you on, Lou?
I am on. Oh shit! You're on. I'm gonna take the dog shot. I'll take Churro.
All right, and then just my 2 cents.
I'm on Park, but no bet.
All right. Yep, and also no bet. Rinya Nakamura, we're all on in that fight. We're also all on Junyoung Lee. I'm on Ajika as well as Lou. that is courtesy of Stubborn Mick and our own analysis. While just my 2 cents is the doubter on Jubilee there. Kinoshita, I'm on Adam Fugit. Lou is as well, and just my 2 cents is on Kinoshita in that fight. Kyle Nelson is my pick for Doo-Ho Choi fight, while Lou and just my 2 cents are on Doo-Ho Choi. I'm on Blagoy. Is everybody on Blagoy? Or no? Just my 2 cents. You're on Tabora, right?
No, I took Tabora.
I have Blagoy and I bet Blagoy as well.
Okay. Yep. Blagoy and bet Blagoy, and then Tabora for Lou. Sorry about that. And then Devin Clark for me. Wow. Lou, were you on Devin?
No, because I hate his dad.
Yeah, I hate his dad. And then Down Young for you two. And then the main event, Derrick Lewis for Lou and I, while just my 2 cents has Mr. Spivac. My 5-fight parlay. This is Aaron's 5-fight moneyline parlay. This was not an easy one to frankly have one on. It was hard to find my 5. Yes, I put Tyra in there. I feel bad to do it. It does nothing for my parlay at minus 1,400. It is what it is. Then I have Jun Young Park. I do think he avoids the rock and bop of Dennis Tululin. I got him at minus 200. Jun Young Lee as well, minus 260. I like him over Isa pretty comfortably. And then Rinya Nakamura, minus 450. Don't love it, but I do think he's just much better than his opponent, and he's going to show out here. And my 5th leg, it's an underdog. It's Adam Fugit, plus 270 for my 5-fight moneyline parlay to get me to a plus 910 on that 5-fight. That is the highest it's ever been. Probably not going to come through. This is not the type of fight card I would suggest it on, but Zhang Li asks, and I will deliver. That is going to do it for the UFC Vegas 68/Seoul Fight Night card here. Guys, we went an hour and 45 minutes on this. I really appreciate
banger.
Yeah, and this is a great card. I've decided it's a great card. Yes, the stakes aren't as high as they could be, but yeah, I think there's some really good information here. Lou, as always, appreciate you being here. You're always welcome back. Hopefully we can work again in the near future, man. Really appreciate you coming on. And then just my 2 cents, killing it as always, sir. You've convinced me to bet Blagoy Ivanov. So
let's fucking go.
So thank you very much for that. We'll see how that ages. But,
let's go is right.
Yeah, let's go Blagoy. But Lou, where can people find you? Tell people what else is coming up for you this week.
We'll be at the Parsippany Laugh Shack on Friday. Now I have I'm doing the Pub Sports DFS show tonight at 7, and then I'm doing my buddy Addicted to Combat, Patrick, 8 o'clock, break down the card. He's a ridiculous human being. I love him. Thursday, the prop show is dropping, and then every Friday at 5:30, happy hour on the MMA Engine channel. You already know who your bets are. It's not even really a betting show at this point. You listen to Monk talk about DFS. I'm telling like Norm Macdonald jokes just to like fill up time and like hopefully people tip the comedy because they ain't tipping the picks. So I'm hoping I just tip the jokes.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's it.
All right. Awesome, Lou. Appreciate it, man. You're great. You're one of the good people in this community. Just my 2 cents. Go subscribe to Just My 2 Cents YouTube channel. It's got some wild streams that will go for indiscriminate amounts of time. So yeah, it's Just My 2 cents, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Thank you for the plug, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It was an honor to be on stream with a couple. I'm going to go ahead and just say legends. I don't think that's too much of a stretch in this community.
Not enough. More.
Yeah, no, I really feel that way, man. Thank you again. And as far as like me on social media, I'm really just I am on Twitter if you want to catch me on there at @J_my2cents. But really, where I feel like I butter my bread is with the predictions. You can find me on Tapology at Just My 2 Cents. And yeah, man, I do stream on Monday and Friday. Friday, I'll be doing the weigh-in stream. I got to figure out what the fuck time they are. That might be helpful, but I will be doing that. And then Monday, I always do a recap show. So be sure to check that out. And thanks again for the plug. And thanks again for having me on, dude. It was a good time.
Yep. Yeah, you'll be back. I think we're off for a week after this. So we'll be back in a couple weeks with the UFC, I think, but I don't know. And I don't know what MMA is next week. So whatever comes up next week between Cage Warriors, CFFC, and Fury and all that.
We got PFL challengers,
Oh yeah. Oh, one more thing. The PFL Challengers series will not have a video this week.
No Van de Deer dunk.
That's all I got. I'm not doing a video on the featherweight women challengers series. I can't do it. I'm sorry. But that is going to do it for the show. Thank you, everybody in the comments. We had over double digit. We had not over double digits. We did not have triple digits, but we had double digit live viewers middle of the day here. So always appreciate that. Drop the like, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out, and keep taking care of each other out there, and enjoy the fights on Saturday. Bellator is already up on the channel as well.